annual note forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald as posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcement. Will you please rise and salute to the flag?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you,
Call the
Judy.
roll call.
Mr. Shirley,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Mr. Kenrick, Ms. Crock.
Yes.
Councilman Kukovich,
Present.
Mr. Mazaluski.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien, Chairman Ray, Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mr. Wagner, Mayor Galati. Here.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Yes.
Minutes, the motion is in order to approve the minutes of the March 4, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Shirley,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Crock.
Yes.
Councilman Kukovich,
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski.
I was at the meeting, but I wasn't on the board, so I guess I would say yes. or abstain. Okay.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Okay, next item is resolutions. We have three of them, or two of them. First resolution is Isabella Olco. The hearing date was February 4, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution? I'll make the motion.
Second,
Mr. Shirley,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kukovich, Mr. Mazaluski,
yes.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
The next resolution is Dimitri Simbler. The hearing date was February 4, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of that application?
Motion.
Mr. Shirley,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kukovich, Mr. Mazaluski,
Yes.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
Okay, next item is correspondence. We don't have any correspondence. Okay. Escrow refunds, Mont McDonald. No, there is no escrow refunds, I'm sorry. Next item is bills, Mont McDonald, Dolan and Dolan, and the New Jersey Herald. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Mr. Shirley,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yes.
Councilman Kukovich,
Yes.
Mr. Mazaluski,
Yes.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow, Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Galati. Yes.
Okay, zoning officer report.
Nothing tonight.
All right, Bill. Thanks.
2 meetings in a row, Bill?
All right, discussion. Do we have any discussion? No? Old business. Do we have any old business to discuss? Hearing none. New business. Any new business to discuss? No? Okay, we'll get on to it. Continued applications. The first application is Sandra Giorgi, block 31603, lot 1 and 8, number 8 Oneida Ave.
This is on the agenda as a continued application, but this is the first substantive hearing we're having on this. Isn't that correct? Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
there's
That
no
is correct.
testimony given on
Yeah,
it.
nothing yet. No. There, Mr. Colabella's here. He's filling in for Frank McGovern. He represents Echo Cove. He might want to just be briefly heard on that so that he's in here. So can I go get
Sure,
him?
go ahead.
I think it would be silly not to have him.
Absolutely.
Swearing your witness. You swear the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
Yes, I do.
and your full name, sir.
Ed Stewart, STEWART, professional engineer and land surveyor.
And you've testified before this board in the past, like,
Yes, I have.
I also, Mr. Stewart is an expert in the area engineering. And surveying. Good. We also have an architect here, Mr. Zaga. You please stand up.
you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
I do.
and your full name, sir.
Mark, last name I'll spell ZGODA.
And you're a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey.
Correct.
You've testified before boards in the past.
Yes.
And I offer Mr. Zogda as an expert in the area of architecture.
Okay, very good.
Can you raise your right hand?
This was testimony you're about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
And your full name, please?
Sandra Georgie, Giorgi.
Ms. Georgie, you own the property,
Yes,
and this is your application?
yes.
So can you take a seat for a second?
Okay, I want people to see.
All right. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to finally be before you with this application. We've been through a lot to get here. The application references property 8 Oneida Avenue. 8 Oneida Avenue is actually comprised of two separate lots. It's block 31603, lots 1 and 8, which includes the center, up to the center of Riggs Lane. It's a 25,700 square foot lot developed solely with a boathouse and a dock on the lot. It currently does not have a dwelling. The property sits in the R1 residential zone. The applicant is seeking variance relief under C1 and C2 to develop the lot with a 2-bedroom home with a loft, detached garage, and to renovate the boathouse for the purpose of putting in like a pontoon boat. Inside the boathouse, and we'll have more testimony on it, inside the boathouse, there's a dock on each side of the boat, and there's also docks on each side of the boathouse. The requisite variances for this application include lot depth, 100 feet is required, 66 feet is proposed, front yard setback, 40 feet is required, 30 feet is proposed, rear yard setback, 20 feet is required, 13.73 feet is proposed. There's steep slope disturbance, 2,500 square feet is permitted, and there's 10,578.8 feet requested. There's also accessory structure height of 18 feet where the maximum is 21 feet. That relates to the garage. And I have to be honest, this application is quite different than most because of the way the property abuts Oneida Avenue. You'll notice that Oneida was actually, I believe, vacated as a paper street. And when it was vacated, it put my client's property in an awkward position, although it did benefit her. The way the home sits and the setbacks that are calculated are actually at a unique location. And you'll hear that from the testimony of our engineer. I know Mr. Rushke was the one that was actually handling it at the time. I don't know if you guys have a new engineer now, but when we took those measurements, Mr. Rushke was the one who advised us to make the measurements directly from the end of Oneida. So you'll see how we came to those setbacks. That's why I believe the majority of this application sits in the C1 relief for hardship because of the unique shape size of the lot. So without further ado, Mr. Stewart, if you would, please open up to the board with your testimony.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to be referring to my plans I revised to. Oneida Ave, lot 1, block 31603, which comprises of 25,710.4 square feet in zone R1 residential zone. Currently, lot is does not have a principal structure on it. We do have a boathouse located, of course, on the lake, along with a dock, a fairly large dock, along with a seawall. We also have existing septic tanks, existing well, existing stone wall that is picking up some of the grade in this area here on the flatter section of the lot. Existing parking area, and we did soil logs completed up towards the easterly portion of the site, which are acceptable. So there's our existing property. We do front on Oneida in 2 locations, on the north side and the south side. Off the north side is the, it's an unimproved right of way, I'll call it, up to about, I believe, 1 property to the north of us is where it's improved on. Beyond that, it's not. On the south side, Oneida Ave does come up to our property line, And that's where our parking lot is, or parking area is currently located just off the road, Oneida Ave there. The site is lightly wooded. There's some various trees throughout the site, as you can see. We did locate those as well. Let's see. As far as topography goes, of course, low portion down by the lake at elevation 924, sloping upward towards the east side of the property, where that's an elevation of approximately 992. It's about a 16 to 17% slope across the entire lot. So as you can see, the site is characterized by exceptional topography. We do have one existing non-conforming condition because of the shape of the property and the location of it in relation to the right-of-way. The lot is somewhat slender, 66 feet in width across the entire property. Oneida is at the center of one of the sidelines, I'll call it, or the front line in this case. And of course, that's where we take our setback areas from, is from that end of that right of way, producing our setback line as such for our front yard. And we are proposing a 2-story, 2-bedroom dwelling on the site with a walkout basement, which is located to the east side of the Oneida Ave area. And along with that, we're also proposing a 2-car garage located off to the right side or east side of Oneida Ave. In between the two, of course, we're going to have a driveway coming in, accessing the garage. From there, we'll go down to the house, down a walkway, a couple of steps to make up some grade to the first floor level of the home. And then from there, sloping downward, of course, we have a walkout basement out the back of the house or on the lake side of the house. We are also removing the existing boathouse and dock and replacing that with a proposed boathouse and dock. The docks are much smaller than what was there now. The boathouse is bigger than what is there now. We are serviced by on site, as I pointed out earlier, and we're also serviced by a private septic system, our own septic system, of which we did propose and submit application to the Sussex County Division of Health, and we are approved with that septic system. As far as the drainage goes, we are collecting the roof runoff from the garage and also from the home and directing that underground to dry wells located down on the lower side of the property. Water flows downhill. So they're approximately 30 feet from the lake. This section here, we're proposing 3 dry wells to accept that roof runoff to help mitigate the surface runoff coming from the property with these improvements. As far as the grading goes, most of the grading is, or most of the deviation of the grading is due to the septic area because of compliance with state code. We have to fill a little bit on the low side of the septic in order to make up the grade, so we have a flat septic area, and that's where most of the deviation of the grading is taking place, is up in this section here on the septic system. From there, going downhill towards the garage, we have a proposed wall going around 3 sides of the garage area. The maximum height of that wall is 4 feet in the southeast corner right in this section here. From there, it goes down to 0, back to grade, same thing across the back, over the other side, goes back to grade. That creates a nice little plateau for the garage area. So we're able to place the garage there. Then a gentle slope across the driveway or parking area to the walkway again, going down to the house, downhill. That porch area, it's basically a covered porch on the front of the house there. That's basically at grade, slightly. So basically, the covered porch area is slightly elevated above existing grade. So again, we're trying to work with that's to keep the floor level, of course, higher than what the grade is out there. Then from there, walking through the house, setting out basement level. Again, that's near existing grades. Minor deviations with the grade there. We are regrading around the house in order to divert the surface runoff around the home down the sideline of the property. So we're not affecting the property to the north or south of us. It's being directed towards the lake area. Going further down the hill to the boathouse, we are proposing there, which basically as far as the setbacks go, we meet all the setback requirements. There are some variances for the boathouse, which I can go through. Basically, what you have in your ordinance is a waterline area or waterline area, I believe it is. WLA, which is water lot area. Yeah, water lot area. Which is basically the area in the water extending out from your property. I believe it's 50 feet in this section here. So based on that, you calculate coverage of the boathouse and the docks. Within your ordinance, you're allowed 15% of that area. Existing, we're at 20.3%. Our proposal is going to 28.3%. So approximately 8% more than what's there now of the coverage. Our architect is going to go over the reason why we're expanding the boathouse area. As far as the dock water lot area coverage, which is a separate item as well, 10% is required for the existing, and we're going to 17% for the proposed. Now, as far as another variance, house and dock area, you're required only one dock. Technically, we have two, one down each side of the boathouse. One is 4 feet wide, the other one is 6 feet wide. And that 6 foot wide dock, again, there's another variance for the width of the dock. Maximum width is at 5 feet, but it is up to the discretion of the board to go to 10 feet if it's feasible or required for stability purposes. We're at 6 feet. Again, that's another variance for the dock. Another thing within your ordinance is the length of all legs of the dock, which is adding up all the legs of the docks, basically the width and the length of the docks. That's at 98 feet. 50 feet is required, so that's a variance for that as well. And then, let's see, I went over the maximum width of the dock. And I believe that would be all of the variances for the boathouse and the docks. As far as the home and the garage go, we are requesting a couple variances there. Basically, as I stated earlier, because of the width of the lot, our lot depth is at 66 feet, required at 100. And due to the slenderness of the property and the frontage on Oneida, that's only at 66 feet, so that's an existing non-conforming condition. That does require variance as well. Back to the front yard setback. Again, the 40 foot coming off of the end of Oneida produces basically an arc across the property. So you take the 40 feet there, plus the rear yard coming from the other sideline and northerly boundary line. Rear yard's at 20 feet, so that's 60 feet right there. So basically your building envelope near those roadways is non-existent. So that's another reason for the variance. We're trying to keep the home and the garage tight, close to each other to help reduce the amount of disturbance on the property. So in order to do that, we basically went 30 feet from the end of Oneida to the garage and also to the home, which requires a variance for each one of those. We feel that's nicely placed for a couple more reasons, of which I'll get into in a minute when I talk about the slopes. Also to help mitigate the setbacks, which we provide some screening using blue spruce along the southerly boundary and along the northerly boundary, a total of 15. There'll be 6 along the northerly and 9 along the southerly. That'll help screen the home from the adjacent homes to help mitigate that variance situation. I did miss the one thing about the rear yard variance for the home itself. The main body of the home from the northerly boundary line is at 16.1 feet. Required is at 20. So that's a main body of the house, but we do have a chimney inside the house, which is down at 13.73. So only in small portions at 13.73 feet, where the remainder of the home is at 16.1. So basically it's a variance for the chimney setback of 13.73. Now I'll get into the slopes. Go on sheet 2. As you can see here, there's shading on the property. The white area are the 0 to 15% slopes. The lighter shaded area are the 15 to 25, which most of this is. And then there's some small pockets of darker shaded areas, which is a little bit hard to tell on this copy, but they are in there if you look hard enough. There's a section here, some over here, just some basically isolated areas of 25% slopes in there. And within your ordinance, you're only allowed to disturb 25%, I'm sorry, 2,500 square feet of slopes greater than the 15%. So within our area of the property, within our disturbed area of the property, I should say, within those disturbed slopes, we are disturbing 25%. Category 8,159.7 square feet. 25% slopes or more, we're disturbing 2,419.1 square feet. So that basically equates to a total of slopes greater than 15% of 10,578.8 square feet, which of course is above your 2,500 square feet allowable. But again, due to the slenderness of the lot and the existing topography of the lot, that's necessary. Any development on this lot will require some sort of variances to the steep slopes condition that you have in your ordinance.
Was there a house on this property previous? I mean, because there's a boathouse and a well there. Is there?
I believe there was, yes.
What was the square footprint of the house?
I don't know that answer.
Was it as big as this?
I don't think so. I think it's similar in size, because this again is not a large home.
The
to be placed on this
one that
property.
was there was similar in size, you said? to
I believe
this?
it was based on what I see from the topography. And let me go back.
That's okay.
No, I can explain that a little bit more, because I like to, because this is another thing that we're doing here. As you can see, the white areas,
Mhm.
we tried to stay near those areas in order to reduce the amount of disturbance to the slopes. And the house area that was formerly there is right in this section here, which based on that wall location that I pointed out earlier, the well location, the septic tanks, I believe was similar in size and was right in the section here.
You had also said that one of the dock, I guess, gangways is 4 feet, the other one you propose is 6, but you were thinking also 12 or 10. It could also be from 6 to 4, but how is the access for other people, neighbors on both sides, for their boats to be able to navigate wider structures that you're proposing other than what's already there?
Good question.
Well, you said it was more than 11 feet here closest to the property line. So for a boat, you could moor a boat here and it still would be within your side yard, more or less.
And the next dock is 32 feet away.
Yeah.
One of the ordinances says that the docks need to be 21 feet apart. And when you redesigned your boathouse, you designed it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, we basically relocated this from our original set of plans that the last submission, I think 3/31/23. This boathouse was actually over this way more. We relocated that to be in conformance with your ordinance. And the existing boathouse that's there now is 14 feet away from the neighboring dock to the north. We're proposing now 29 feet from the boathouse to the existing dock next door. So we're increasing that, doubling that basically.
Okay.
What is the inside, the boat well, how wide is that? I mean, is that for two boats? I mean.
No, it's
when there's just one single?
I know it's for a single boat and it's meant to have a pontoon boat
Okay.
Yeah,
within the
and
boathouse.
our architect is gonna go right through that.
Okay.
Yep,
All right,
He'll give you all those dimensions.
sure.
So again, as far as, from what I have seen, this boathouse is 21 by 30, which
This is
is
what it is right now.
basically smaller than most boathouses these days.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Up where the septic field is going, where you gotta cut to the hill, where you figure depth wise there, you got enough depth to the high side of that. to
Yeah.
accommodate? Okay.
Plenty of room for the septic. We have our approval from this.
County, okay.
And that's primarily where the slope disturbance comes in, is where the septic system is going.
Yes, and that's based on state code. We have to comply with state code, and that's why it's graded as such. We have, basically, it's a 3-to-1 slope coming from the septic, where this grade is at 16-17%, so we've got to catch up a lot to that grade, and we're providing a lot of, shouldn't say a lot, more than normal fill on the bottom area of the septic in order to catch up to grade of the property.
So your garage is basically gonna be built into the hill, right? The backside of the garage will be masonry all the way up or somewhat.
That's correct. Which helps with our building height issue because the garage is now compliant because of that wall system. 18 foot is your required building height of an accessory structure. And based on the definition of the accessory building height, it comes out to be 17.2 feet. And then same thing with the boathouse. I should add that the height of the boathouse is at 17.83 feet, where 18 feet is required.
And the drywall structures are capable of handling the house and the garage.
Yes,
You did the calculation.
yep. Mr. Rushby reviewed that in the past.
Well, I'm sure you got his letter. Did you comply basically with everything that's in his letter? I mean,
Yes.
or address all those items?
We will address all this.
I mean, I'm good with the engineer. Any questions of the engineer?
I have a question. You said that there were, in the opening statement, you said that there were 2 docks on either side of the existing boathouse. The dock isn't the association dock?
No, I meant 2 docks on either side of the boathouse, meaning on our boathouse.
On the
there's a
proposed one.
Dock on the proposed, there's a proposed.
Because now
dock
there's
on
a
each side.
dock only on one side of the boathouse. You're proposing one on each side of the boathouse.
That's correct.
The way I perceive that is that the dock system for the boathouse is really a U-shaped dock. And that's where the length to the 3 legs, which is where it is. Where the dock box is, I did go out to double check that. Fortunately, that is a demise makeshift, but I would say under the dock box, it's a dock. And that's where I was coming up with the second part.
Okay. You're considering this one dock and the second dock was
Yes.
there. I misunderstood that.
Oh, it's what you looked at, it's the way I
Okay.
looked at it.
So basically, there's a dock to the north of us that is encroaching onto this, over the boundary line by approximately 6 feet or so. That is actually the neighboring dock. So that would be a second dock.
And again, just for owner, that's the association's dock?
Yes. Okay. From what I understand, yes.
And on the side of the new boathouse, on I guess the northern, what is that? What is it, like 4 feet wide there? That, what is that, about approximately 4 feet?
That's 4 feet,
And the other side, you're proposing what?
6.
6 feet? Okay, we have any other questions to the engineer? No? Okay, Mr. Beckman, I don't know who's
Okay.
next.
Well, Mr. Zagler?
Yeah.
You can take it down for now. Take it down, we'll put it back up.
No, I was gonna put it right on.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond.
Sure, a little bit.
Well, we'll do one at a time. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to appear before this board for the first time. The attitude we took, it's on the lakefront. They're small houses. It's very small. You see, even though we're calling them 2 stories, they're not your typical house where you have an 8-foot ceiling on the first floor, another 8-foot ceiling on the second floor, and then the attic. They're basically derivatives of the Cape Cod, where you basically have the first floor, the attic roof comes down, and you're living in the attic on the second floor. That helps reduce the scale of everything. So, for instance, for the house and even the front view, we don't have a continuous ridge coming across, and we break it up, very cottage-like, okay? As we spoke about before, there are no height variations required for the house. This is just the idea of the character of it. Obviously, this is the approach up the uphill side. This is the lake side with, generous porch, lots of views. These are the side views. Again, you can see it's basically a 1-story house with a steep roof that you're living in, okay? Again, with the siding, try to stay within the character of some of the older homes within the lake. Okay, the floor plan, this is 2-bedroom.
Mr. Zogler, are these the same plans that
Yeah,
were?
these are
submitted?
Skoda.
They were colored as well?
Yes.
Oh, Skoda, I'm sorry.
Hey, my own cousin's can't even pronounce my name, it's okay.
I'll work on it.
That's all right. Yeah, nothing's different. These are the ones that were submitted the last revision. Okay, so this is, no new exhibits in this case. I'm just gonna be able to present them. So, the floor plan, I mean, it's small. The house, first floor is 840 square feet. The second floor is 744. So again, talking about scaling everything down, making it appropriate for the site. First floor is just your general, great room, basically living sunroom, porch out the back. Second floor, again, you're living in that roof. You have 2 bedrooms and then a loft. The loft, don't be concerned. There's not enough headroom or even egress window. That would never be a bedroom. It's just a little bit of library, or probably the grandkids would be throwing paper airplanes down at you, but just a fun little loft up there. Okay. We have this design as 2-bedroom. Now the septic is designed for 4, right? 4 bedrooms? Yeah. We're not proposing 4 bedrooms at this time. Now there is a walkout basement, obviously because to take advantage of the sloped site. So we could in the future, we might, rough and pike in here for anyone in the future to add the 2 bedrooms here. That's why it's oversized. We're not proposing anything here, any basement bedrooms, but we will have, an egress window and, French doors out there. Okay, you can see just some of this is, some of the character of the interior, a nice open space. When you have a small footprint, you put nice cathedral ceilings, it gives it a lot more depth. Okay, I guess we should go one at a time. Any questions on this? And then I'll go to the next building.
Well, first of all, you kind of get hammered with a lot of stuff. I just want to say it's a very nice design. Very beautiful. And you had a lot of creative.
The owner actually had a lot to do with it too.
Okay.
You got a model.
Nice layout.
That's our job. Okay, next building. We're good? Okay. Boathouse relax. That's what I moved. The garage, again. Cottagey, if that is an adjective. Again, just the Cape Cod roof. So this is, whoops, this is boathouse. Okay, there's no second floor, it's just an attic for storage, just a little scuttle to get up there. One neat thing we did here too, again, with respect to the site, this is an important revision that we updated with one of the questions. This side elevation, this is sheet 1.
Does the board have these plans?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. What are the dates? What's the date on those plans?
And
3/26. Oh, wait a minute, that's years ago.
10/8.
1/8/25.
I don't think I had a different one. I have, mine are, 10/8/2018.
Yeah, that's what I was on.
Right, yeah, and that's why I know that there were so many revisions to the plan because, you know, we kept talking with Mr. Donegan to try to scale things back.
Wait, there's two dates here. There's a date on the side that's
Plans to-
twenty eighteen,
Oh, the revision date?
and there's a date down. below.
1/8/25 on the bottom.
1/8/25.
So you do have them, fantastic. I know, it
Come
scared
on.
me too. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, I think we got it. A lot of dates.
So
on
there's
there.
not many changes in that from one drawing.
No, what I just wanted to demonstrate to clarify, because there was concern about the height of this. We actually built it as the engineer had alluded to.
So,
We have a retaining wall, so this is kind of built into the slope. We're not using the building as a retaining, we have a retaining wall here. So on that retaining wall, it's only 14 feet above that, but the downside, it's 20 feet 8 inches. So that's what he was talking about, the average. So again, we're trying to, have respect to the site, kind of slide it into the hillside. Okay, and of course, it's not showing, there will be a railing here, anything over 4 feet, we need a railing in there so it will fall off. Okay, so that's the clarification with that. This is just a detail, there's all sorts of nailing patterns required with raised wall framing and stuff like that. That's construction drawing phase. Okay, so just nice little two bay garage. Okay? Now, the boathouse, again, you can see everything matches, similar with the Cape Cod and the slope roofs and stuff like that. This does have, shed dormers on the sides. Now, one thing so I know you're concerned, I'll explain the size of it. There's just one big overhead door. Accommodate, a potential pontoon boat. So. So
What's the date of the plan?
this is also, this right here, 1/8/25, the lower right. This is the latest submittal, 1/8/25. And this is important because this is where we cut back some of the dock size. This is where we slid this down the site, so, we're responding to the setback requirements. So the overall footprint of this is 21 by 30. And we're looking for the actual area of a boat to be 14 feet wide by, there's a stairway in the back, so really about like 27, a lot of pontoon boats, 24, 27 feet, so that's the intent. Okay, and there is an upstairs attic area with a little balcony to, a place to hang out. It's not an apartment, never gonna be one. But the concern also with the way the docks, we revised them specifically based on what was brought up with the setbacks. We're proposing a 4-foot dock, actually, is it really called a dock? A place to bring your boat up, 4 feet wide. This side where we do have a little bit of variation, we propose a 6 feet because we'd like to have, that's got columns there, a place to hang out. A 4-foot wide dock, you're gonna fall off of it. 6 feet wide, at least you can entertain. It's got a covered area. You can see the front here. This is a more attractive building, so we're seeking relief on that. So this is that side where you can actually hang out in a covered area. And again, the height of this is conforming 18 feet. And one thing I do want to bring up, if we do get approval here, I will conform. I've done a bunch of buildings along the Delaware and the Jersey Shore. I know the FEMA and all the requirements with floods and flood proofing. So I'll look into whatever your requirements are here for the lake datum and the steel pilings and all that type of stuff. I'm
No,
actually
no
looking forward-
bathrooms, no kitchens,
Nope.
no sinks, nothing like that. Same with the garage, right?
Right, correct.
just thinking about, do you boat on Lake Apacon, sometimes.
I don't hear one, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sorry, do you boat on Lake Apacon?
No, but it's on my list. I'm a big time. I live right in the Delaware. I can't wait.
Sometimes there's a bit of chop. I know this is a no wake zone.
Right, right.
Past the bridge, but I mean, 6 feet, if you needed to moor a boat temporarily before it goes in, or you have a guest, you could moor it on the 6-foot side. On the other side, where you're proposing a 4-foot, honestly, if somebody else needed to moor their boat on the more modest,
Right.
is that 4 foot really necessary if you get 6 feet on the other side? Well, architecturally speaking.
So
I think it's
I-
desirable because
I-
sometimes with the wind, I know, I have a Carolina skiff that's like a,
Yeah.
the wind just blows all over. I take it to the bay all the
No,
time.
but
Sometimes you can't get there, the wind will blow you, so you need that other dock to be able to come and tie up to. So I think that's an advantage to it,
and you would
the safety of the
envision,
structure.
yeah, we also believe for the purposes of maintenance of the structure, it's important to have it. It's a safety concern to have the dock on both sides. We could make it smaller. But what's the benefit of making it any smaller? We believe we've kind of met right in the middle with the
Mhm.
4 feet size.
okay, again, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
I didn't go out
understand.
with a tape measure, but
Yeah,
I have my boat, I have my neighbor's boat. We want to
Sure.
make sure we're good neighbors and
understood.
stay as far apart of each other, not only in
Right,
good
right.
weather, but in bad weather
Yeah.
where. you
And I
know,
can talk to the applicant before a vote is taken on the application, and I'll discuss that 4-foot wide dock on the side of the boathouse.
Yeah,
But
I
Either
understand.
way, I mean, you put a boat on either side of it, it's still well within the setbacks
Yeah.
where it's not gonna affect anybody on either side of it, you know? I mean, 4 foot is probably the minimum
It
to-
it
to-
is,
Yeah,
if it's
exactly.
3
to
foot, it's a-
navigate it. I mean,
if
it's
it's
that's
only
getting
3
scary
foot, it
now.
requires variance.
Yeah.
Oh, so,
And we cut it back significantly. Prior to this, we had a big extension, like a tongue that was a dock too, and that was all setback issues. So we actually took that all off and we reduced the amount of dock around this building and this revision.
And the upstairs on the boathouse is a necessity.
I'm sorry,
The upstairs on the boathouse is a necessity.
A
Because
necessity?
the boathouse that's existing there is just the 1-story single boathouse. So I understand replacing that, obviously.
well, for storage, you said is a necessity?
Is it a necessity? 'Cause
Yeah,
again,
they would desire it for storage of stuff, even with a boat, you have all the stuff that goes along with it. Do you want to carry that from the house each time? It'd be nice to have all, the life preservers, the tubes, all that sort of stuff, right? Because the boathouse itself just fits the boat and that's it. You need all the equipment upstairs.
I mean,
Where-
you're
where's
only
the staircase?
proposing a 4-foot ceiling, I mean, a 6-foot high ceiling up there.
Yeah, exactly,
So it's not like,
yeah.
I mean,
Where's the
basically, you couldn't really
staircase?
use it for anything.
It's in the rear. And that's another reason why, we're proposing a 30-foot depth of it. So this is the actual void for the boat, and there's the stair in the back. Goes right up. It's a nice space up here. You guys have shed dormers, it's gonna be nice, and we're proposing a cantilevered balcony on the lakeside.
Did you say it's only,
Those life preservers are gonna love it up there.
did you say it's only a 6-foot height?
6'4".
Yeah, 6'4" underneath, so it can never be an occupied space. Just, I could fit under it.
But it's still a beautiful design. So.
Oh. Anything else?
I'm good. Any other questions? Nice drawings. Nice. all
I am looking
nice.
forward to learning this lake.
You say that now.
Yeah, I know, I heard, don't come on weekends. Yeah, I'm on the Delaware all the
The only
time.
good thing is that where that particular property is, it's very calm.
Yeah,
It never
right,
gets,
yeah, I looked on the
Yeah,
code.
there's no wake zone, it's really defining that whole area.
Yeah.
Probably one of the quietest sections of the lane.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, we're good. Mr. Drexler?
I mean, maybe the public has some questions for our experts while they're available.
Does anybody from the public wish to comment on the application at this time? You
Shakes
are?
his head. Chris Colabella for the record. I represent Echo Cove Association, Violet Hatton, Carolyn Ligori, Mark and Catherine Cook, Brian Massey, Kristen Dyack, Paul and Brenda Rahimi, and Elaine Thompson.
how many up here?
It looks like 6 households plus the association. So I'm here essentially on behalf of Frank McGovern. Frank McGovern has sent a letter of representation in back in February indicating, and this was sent to Ms. Mejia, the objection to the project, based on, what he described, and I'll read the letter. The association owns a deeded strip of land and beach directly affected by the proposed development, which is the subject of the application. And he goes on to say, the association was deeded its property and rights in 1973. And individual lot owners nearby retain easements for access through it on and over a 35-foot wide Riggs Lane, which runs over a portion of the Georgie property. So if we look at the map, and you'll see, let me just put this up here.
Right, yeah, put Fred's map on.
Yeah, so if we look at this map here, so we have Riggs Lane, and you'll notice that Riggs Lane was originally, it looks like it was 35 feet at one point, or 34 feet. And over the course of the years, the landowners in this area, property owners, which I just named, have lots here. In their deeds, they have the right to utilize Riggs Lane to go down to the dock. They call it Echo Cove. Echo Cove was formed in the 1970s. So what happened over the course of time, it looks like Oneida at one point was, I guess, abandoned by the town, and Miss Georgie was able to pick that up. And it looks like the line goes right down the middle of Riggs Lane. At one point in time, the municipality erroneously deeded the lower portion of Riggs Lane to the two property owners, the Georgie property owner and Tomlinson on the other side. And there was an ordinance, and then it was at some point the council retracted the grant. But later on, there was some litigation that resulted in the court entering an order directing that half of the lane go to Tomlinson, half of the lane go to Georgie, and Tomlinson never took their half of the lane. The problem with the whole thing is that all of it is subject to it, and it says it on the plan. I thought I saw it. It's all subject to the rights of these deeded property owners in the area. So these particular property owners have access through Riggs Lane to this to the dock. In the deeds, it actually refers to a beach. I imagine there was a beach there at one time. The dock, and of course, this area right around it. You'll notice in here that a portion of the area, it looks like there's a wood dock. It looks like a portion of it is actually on the Georgie property, which is really Riggs Lane. So the problem that we have is that prior to the board entering into any type of resolution or approval, their rights, these property owners' rights have to be addressed. I have here with me deeds which have specific language referring to this specific lane, and excuse me, and the rights which were granted to them. And it looks like these go back to like the 1960s, 1970s, ones in 1980. They specifically grant access to the strip of land, beach and dock, being the 35-foot strip in width between lots 5 and 6. So lots 5 and 6 are the Georgie lot and the Tomlinson lot. So if you look at this, this is lot 5 and this is lot 6. I think this is lot 1 now.
Yes.
Yeah, this is lot 1 now. So this was the 35-foot strip between these lots, which now with the Georgie lot line here has reduced it to, I guess, about half that, about 17 feet. So the problem we have is we have property owners on this side of the Georgie property that would come down, cross over Oneida, go down Riggs, and get to the dock. This was the association's plan, and that's what's contemplated in the deed. So the point is that any approval would need to be subject to the rights of these property owners. When we look at Riggs Lane, there is what I see about 17 feet of their rights, which have been taken away already. Frankly, the order by Judge, I guess it was Judge DeAngelis at one time, enters an order, but it's all subject to the rights of these property owners. And if we look at their rights being exercised, there's going to be significant interference with that. So we're here tonight to ask the board, as a condition of any approval, to require that there be some agreement between Georgie and these 6 property owners and Echo Cove. There were some preliminary discussions with Mr. Beckendorf, between Mr. Beckendorf and, where did he go? Oh, there he is. And Mr. McGovern. And it appears that an agreement was not reached. They were close. And I think that in order to protect these other property owners, the approval the board issues needs to address either the agreement in the resolution, if there's an agreement tonight, if we came up with an agreement, or if the resolution is entered, that there be a condition, a specific condition, that they cannot construct anything until an agreement is reached. The problem I see with that, and I have this in some other matters, actually before this board, you'll see me probably in a couple of months on this. A resolution could be entered conditioned upon an agreement. An agreement is not entered and we're stuck. So I think it's simple enough. And after speaking to Mr. Beckendorf, I think we're going to be able to come up with an agreement that we come up with an agreement prior to the approval being issued, prior to a resolution being adopted. Without that, it's going to be kind of hanging in the wind. And I think what it does, it creates for the parties leverage that shouldn't be there, if you know what I mean. Because if the approval's not given, of course, we have a situation where the property owners here, if it's conditioned upon that, have the ability, of course, to negotiate on a level playing field with Ms. Georgie. If the approval is given and it's going to be subject to them coming up with some agreement later on, the approval is already given and the property owners have lost the ability to negotiate on a level playing field. So I would submit that in order for them to be able to negotiate on a level playing field, that the board withhold the vote until we come up with an agreement. I'm confident that we would be able to do that in short order, hopefully within the next 30 days. And we'd be able to get an agreement in place, something that would be in the chain of title that would protect the property owners, the property owners that I mentioned, and protect Echo Cove. Echo Cove is at the end of Riggs Lane. And we really don't, at this point, know what the intentions of Tomlinson is, because there's a court order in place that also gives Tomlinson the right to half of Riggs Lane. And that was a court order signed by Judge DeAngelis in the Chancery Division. So they're concerned. They're concerned that they're going to lose the ability to access Echo Cove. There's a deeded right in Echo Cove. There's deeded rights to each of the property owners to access Riggs Lane to get to Echo Cove. We have property owners on the other side of the Georgie property that need to somehow get to Riggs Lane to get to Echo Cove. So we have a little bit of a problem that I think could be resolved with some covenants that we can put in a deed, or some agreements that we could arrive at. And I think, so the board knows, this area here has been used like this for over 60 years, probably even longer than that, 70 years. But when I look at the deeds, some of the deeds go back to the 1950s. And this one deed that I'm looking at actually refers to there being a beach there. So there was a beach, a dock, a 35-foot strip of land that was going to be utilized for purposes of accessing Lake Opakon. So, question?
Yeah, since I'm the newest guy here, I'll ask the most basic cringeworthy question. So what you're saying basically is there's a 35-foot path, according to these documents, to get from the water to the neighborhood.
Yes.
That, according to the documents exist now, what does that give the neighbors the right to do? And the reason I ask is, school kids traverse through my yard to get to the school bus because it's easier than walking on the road.
Yes.
Do they have a right of way, or do they just do it out of convenience? If they had a right of way, would that give them the right to determine the landscaping they wanted, say in the 35-foot path, to kind of demarcate, you know?
Gonna steer you where you gotta.
Yeah, to say, hey, you know,
Yeah.
we can stretch out in this area.
Just,
So does it give them that much latitude that they could?
I can tell you what it says. It says access to the strip of land. That's all it says. I mean,
what is access?
so, I'm interpreting that to mean that they have the right to cross over it to get to the lake. And you
Okay.
see this on a lot of properties that are on the lake or close to the lake. They have deeded rights to cross over a certain strip of land to get to the lake. So that's what we have here. We have a situation where these folks just want to protect their rights and they're concerned that they're going to be blocked from accessing the dock and the lake, which they have been for the last 60 or
So if
so
I
years.
understand you correctly, then, the access means unencumbered by a 10-foot wall.
Anything, yes.
For 35 feet, it would be, now, is it their responsibility to maintain it? Because I think on the one hand, when I walk the property, it's currently in a natural vegetative
It is,
state.
it is.
So it's easy to kind of, kind of Rorschach what you think should be
Of
there,
course.
where it would be easier to, landscape
We could have it
35
marked,
feet.
we could have it marked out. I mean,
Well, more than just marked, I mean, a pink slip versus something that says, hey, this looks like an area for the public and this doesn't.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
so it's not really a public area.
Public defined by.
I mean,
the
there's a very
6 or
limited,
so households
exactly, very
and the
limited.
association.
And it was their preference to keep it that way. So when you walk the property, you see, I mean, it's steep slopes, it's some
Mhm.
rough terrain. And they'd like to keep it like that, but if the board wants, of course, they have this association and it was formed back in the 1970s so that they could chip in and maintain the dock and maintain, I guess, the beach. And
Does these easements specifically say that they can cross over the applicant's property? Is that, I mean, if they have an easement
yes,
to go through that property?
yes, it's 35 feet wide. It's a 35-foot strip between lots 5 and 6. Lots 5 and 6, the two lots, are the Georgie lot, the Tomlinson lot. It's
Okay,
35
well,
feet in
that's
between.
that's from top, that's running from the lake up.
No, it's 35 feet wide. It's 100 and, I want to say it's 158 feet long. It goes all the way up to Kissling.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
That they have access to that, but to go across the applicant's property, so say you live on the other side of the applicant.
I-
Does that give them, is there something that specifically
it-
says that they can cross over these people's
It does not.
property to get to that?
It does not. The deeds do not say that. The deeds do say, and I'll just point out on this plan here, that the property I'm referring to is the Lagori property, and I believe
It's right there,
it's-
right in front of you, kind of.
Yeah, it's right in this area. So right now, in order for the Georgies, this is gonna be interesting because there isn't a construction agreement. To get equipment to do all this, they're gonna have to cross over the Lagori property, I'm sorry, the Lagori's property. They're gonna have to cross over Lagori's property to get the equipment in to actually do the work. There's no agreement that we know of for them to cross over the Lagori property, but so this property here would go down to, the property owners would go down to Oneida, they'd cross over Oneida and go down Riggs and get to the beach. Now, they've got to probably go up to Kissling and go down Riggs.
So there's no specific, there's nothing
There's
in any
nothing.
of those deeds that say they can cross over the applicant's property to get to Riggs Lane. As long
No,
as they have access to Riggs Lane
yeah, but,
somewhere.
right, but it was contemplated back then, and when you look at it, Oneida was a public road. So it was contemplated that, and it was used that way, by the way, and this is important, it was used that way for over 60 years. So when you have a use like that for that length of time, there's a right that's developed, and it may be a right that can be enforceable. And we want to avoid a quiet title action. We want to avoid legal action, but right now, it's a very simple thing I think that the board could deal with, so we avoid litigation and avoid problems. What we'd like to do is see some type of an agreement that would give them the ability, simple, just to have unfettered access, that it's not going to be blocked. A portion of the dock, it looks like, is actually over the lot line in the middle of Riggs Lane. There's trees. I mean, you can see that along here, it looks like there's 6 trees right here, right in Riggs Lane. So this is the 35-foot section, right? So there's trees here. I mean, we're just looking for something in the chain of title to make sure that these property owners are protected long-term, as they've been protected for the last 60 or 70
But
years.
Bill, this is not for us to decide. I mean, this has to come to us agreed upon before we.
Well, but you can make this a condition of any approval, and
Yeah,
that's
but
all we're
Make
asking.
it a condition of, I don't like that at all. I want to hear from Mr. Benkendorf. I don't like a condition of approval. contemplating it, you guys.
Well, what is your proposed solution?
At a minimum, they need some type of a licensing agreement that's not going to be, you can't interfere, perpetual licensing agreement, as long as they say, for example,
Well, it's an
maintain.
easement. It's perpetual license
Well,
and easement.
But,
So if there's this, I'm gonna call it an easement, because that's what it
Okay.
is. So if there's an easement, what, can those trees stay there, or what do you propose, a pathway through this
that's
property?
it, just a pathway down Riggs Lane to make sure they can get to Echo Cove, that's it.
Now, Riggs Lane, the other side is still accessible, like the 17-foot strip that goes from top to
It
bottom, that
is,
is still.
it is. The problem is that there's a court order now. Judge D'Angelo sent a court order a few years back that gives the Tomlinsons that 17 feet of property. It's all subject to these deeds. These are deeded rights. So they have a right to go down that lane. They have a right to access the lake. And what's going to happen is if there isn't some provision in this resolution to permit them to continue that access, there's going to be litigation. We could avoid that. We're talking about some type of an agreement that would give them the ability, the property owners, the ability to continue to access the lake as they have accessed the lake for the last 60 or 70 years. It's very simple. And it could be something that's required in terms of it being in a deed, in their deed, in the Georgie's deed. It could be something as simple as us entering into the chains of title of everybody, all the property owners, this right to continuously access the lake down Riggs Lane. That's all. It's very simple.
This
I
is,
don't think it's simple.
no, I mean, this is something you gotta figure out, like maybe they could say 5 feet of our portion and 5 feet of the other portion is it. You know, that's how you're gonna access it. I don't know, but that's not we're not.
Mr. Colabella, how do they access it at this now?
So they go down Riggs Lane. And right now, nobody's blocking them from doing this because there's no development there. So they're able to, as Mr. Taylor said, they're really, it's just kind of rough down there. You just,
So the development would block their access?
we don't know. We don't know what the development or access. It's hard to say. We just want to make sure that their access is not blocked either. We just want to make sure that the lane is kept open in some way, shape or form by having something filed, something giving them rights so that it doesn't end up where it gets blocked and then later on they try to exercise their rights. They go down there and there's a fence. I don't know. There's trees in the
Are you
way.
saying that, I'm sorry, counsel, are you saying that development of the property would landlock them or prevent them from accessing this property?
I don't, looking at this, I don't think so. No, I think that they'd still be able to use the other half of Riggs Lane to access the lake. There's a portion of the dock that it looks like there was some encroachment on a portion of the dock. As you go down, you see the property line. It sort of runs into, it looks like it runs into the dock. And I don't know, it looks like maybe 5 feet of the dock is on the Georgie
So
property.
specifically, where does the property prevent access to Riggs Lane?
There's 17 feet, I'll show you. There's 17 feet here. This is Riggs Lane.
Right.
Riggs Lane starts here and goes to here, right? That's Riggs Lane.
Right.
So coming down Riggs Lane, this portion that between this old property line and this new property line, you'll see here, right there, see the dock right there?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so that's,
It's encroaching.
it's encroaching on it. So that's all they're looking for is some assurances by way of license, by way of easement to have unfettered access to their dock that they've had for the last 70 years. That's all.
So at the other end of Riggs Lane, they would not be able to access that to come down?
They could, and they do.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So,
The issue is having something in place to make sure that that continues and is not interrupted. That's all.
Well, to me, it sounds like it shouldn't be that big a deal to, I mean, as long as you're not proposing to cross over the Georgie's property to get to Riggs Lane, I
Well-
mean, that would be my big,
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
you know, I don't want, listen, if you can access it from the top and go down,
Yeah, I mean,
have at it.
I think there's a deal to be made. I mean, for the Ligoris, for example, they're gonna need to cross her property to get the construction equipment in there. So maybe
But that's another issue.
maybe there's a quid pro quo there. I don't know. So, well, I mean, I could ask their engineer, what is the plan to get construction equipment down there? It's a steep slope. How do they get construction equipment down there? Do they go right down the property?
let me ask you, I mean, I drove down there.
Yeah.
That road, getting that access down there, is that an easement for all those houses down there to get to their houses? Is there an easement through that property?
There is an
There is
easement,
an
yeah, there is, there is an easement. Yeah, I have a copy of it.
Okay, so there is an easement to allow access to those properties.
Right, but not across the Georgie property to get to the dock.
No, and
Right.
I don't think they're looking, I don't think the Georgies would want to give you access to get to the dock.
No,
coming
no,
through
no,
the
just
middle of their
the one property owner on the other side of the Georgie property, like I said, was formerly crossing over Onita to go down Riggs. Now they're required to go up. They can go up and go down Riggs from, I guess, Kissling, is it, I guess.
property. Right,
that's
so
how
they still have access.
They do, they do. So that's all they're looking for. And I think it's a simple matter. Again, I would ask the board to consider putting something in the approval that would require that we enter into some kind of an agreement. I know Mr. Haggerty's shaking his head, but
I'm not thrilled with that. I don't think it's a simple matter. Otherwise, we wouldn't have spent half an hour talking about this.
well, then maybe we need to get an agreement before a vote is
Yes,
taken.
I think you need, that agreement has to be in place before we even move forward on this. I mean,
That's
That's
Did
my,
you guys have already a discussion with the association and the homeowner and that kind of sound like you went away or?
Well, there
stopped?
negotiations, Mr. Beckendorf can speak to this more than I could. I'm here, I was just retained a couple days ago. Mr. McGovern and Mr. Beckendorf were negotiating a deal. I have some letters here that were going back and forth, and it looks like they were close. I mean, I think that a deal will be made. I mean, I'm not sure, you know, how long that will take. I mean, I think it'll be done in short order. I do know that Mr. McGovern, I spoke to him and he, you know, he was pretty confident that, yeah, they were close. I'm not sure why it wasn't buttoned up, frankly.
I mean, Mr. Beckendorf, can this happen? Like,
No, I don't think it's gonna happen quickly. A lot of the problem was, I've been talking to Mr. McGovern for over a year and a half now. He's had trouble getting everybody on the same page. Mr. Colabella says that he's here on behalf of six, or is it six?
Six.
Properties in addition to
And
the
the-
association. So I don't know exactly who's part of the association, but I know that it's been very difficult to get a handle on everybody that has these alleged rights. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with the rights by way of deed. There may be other rights that they have to assert. I don't want to talk about them this evening. I think that's something separate in a different, you know, jurisdiction maybe, but with respect to these rights that they're alleging, I don't know that they have them by way of deed. They might have them by some other prescriptive means, but I don't, you know, I don't want to belabor that. I'm just saying that we came here this evening with this application. I have been working with Mr. McGovern to work out some form of a licensing agreement. It was going to be an annual licensing agreement that they were going to be able to continually renew indefinitely. And while they were redoing that annual license, they would include us as an additional insured. And they would also agree to maintain their dock, which was unfortunately in disrepair. My client was not opposed to them traversing a section of their property to access that. But again, I've had this proposal out to Mr. McGovern for at least a year now. So it's not something that is just going to be done overnight. And Mr. McGovern and I are actually very close. We're good friends and I speak with him regularly. It's just hard to bring everybody together. And I don't know who makes up the Echo Cove. Maybe Mr. Colabella can speak to that. I don't think it's the property owners that I'm talking about because it seems like he's got a pretty good handle on them. I think it's who the association is, and if they have a board, are they going to be voting on it? Do they have to prepare a resolution? You know, if we're gonna be an additional insured, that might impact their insurance, you know, all of these things, and I don't know that we're gonna get everybody to agree to that. So we're here with this application this evening. No matter what happens this evening, if the board looks kindly upon our application, I am going to continue to work with Mr. McGovern. Because like I said, I think there may be some rights here. What they are is disputed, but I think there may be rights here, and I would much rather work out a deal than spend 2 years in court and hunt tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in counsel fees to fight over it. I want to work with Mr. McGovern, but I don't think it should impact our application. There's still 17 feet for them. We're happy to remove the trees. The trees are there as a benefit to the neighbors. But if, you know, if they want us to remove the trees so that they can see my client's property, they're more than welcome to, we'll do that. That's not a concern, and we can make adjustments to the plans not to plant trees there, for example. But again, I don't think that there should be a condition that we work out a deal. Because what if they decide, one person decides, I don't want to work out a deal, and we're stuck with this.
So your client is willing to give an access to on the.
It's a licensing agreement with an additional insured and with maintenance of the dock. That's what I've asked for.
And the
Right
fee?
now, it's at 5 feet.
This year?
No fee, no. If there is a fee, it's nominal, like $1 for the purpose of the licensing agreement. It would be nothing more than that. That's not our intention. We're just concerned about the insurance. We're concerned about the dock.
Liability. I can see what you're saying. You've tried to push this along, but you keep hitting
Yes.
roadblocks on the other side, like you
But
make it
well, I don't
one
want to
person
say
that
that. I
doesn't.
don't know what's on the
Yeah.
other side.
So I would,
There's probably very good people here that want to make sure they have a right of access to a public lake.
Well, it just takes
No
one person
problem.
that doesn't answer your letter, that maybe doesn't even live here anymore, that just slows the whole process.
I could represent to the board that they're all engaged. I'm not quite sure why Mr. McGovern and why they haven't been able to come to an agreement. I can tell you that in my conversations with these people, I think we're gonna enter an agreement. I just got involved, so I think,
And I didn't even know that Mr. McGovern represented property owners. I thought it was just Echo Co.
so all I'm saying to the board, and I'm representing to the board, that I will work with Mr. Beckendorf over the next 30 days to put together an agreement to make sure we have something before the board takes a vote, because if we don't do that and the approval is granted, we're gonna wind up in litigation. That's what's gonna happen, because what is the incentive after the approval is given for Miss Georgie to do anything?
Well, I mean,
I
unless we
just-
approve it,
Okay.
with a condition.
Mr.
that-
Meckendorf, what's your thought in that regard?
Well, I respectfully disagree. I think maybe what we could do is just say you cannot develop on Riggs Lane. The only issue with that is the small section of the chimney that will exist on Riggs Lane. Then technically there's no impact. They're already traversing Riggs Lane. So if the chimney is the only thing that sits over the line on Riggs Lane, the entirety of Riggs Lane, other than those trees, we'll agree not to plant the trees if the board looks kindly upon our application, and I will continue to work with Mr. Colabella.
But the issue is more than that. It's not just a chimney. The issue is the actual ability to cross over in the future, because right now, the way
But they're already
the-
doing it. We're not stopping them.
I know that,
But
but,
there's nothing there.
right,
There's
so,
nothing there. I think the argument is once
Well, they're
something
saying
is
there
in
is, though.
place, it then could be a potential barrier that then is an argument to remove. So yes,
Okay.
right now, and just on your point, and people who know me always know I'm going to say this. You said you're disadvantaged.
No.
Well, you said it would be a disadvantage to engage in this linkage of agreement before you do anything. You're not disadvantaged. If you bought a property at T1, and it's still the same property at T2, it's not like a house was there, it burned down, you need a place to live.
Sure.
That's a disadvantage that we have seen. People's houses have burned down. But there's nothing that's changed regarding the nature of the property or the topology that you could say, yikes, man, I'm really hurting. You know, so I would just say, you're just in the same place you are now. So and plus it makes you a better neighbor, right?
Yeah,
Everybody has something that is nice with everybody.
May I ask you a question?
understand. I think what I'm trying to understand is that they already feel that they have a right to traverse that property. Then we technically could not impact that right. I mean, if it wasn't in effect an actual right. So I don't know what the concern is, because we're only building that chimney on that Riggs Lane.
Yeah, but that portion of Riggs Lane was already deeded to your client,
Yes.
Yes,
and that's all gone through litigation and all. I mean, the judge
Correct.
found that
yeah.
they own
two
that
separate
piece of
times.
property.
Yes.
So,
Mr.
I mean,
Hagerty,
but-
could you give me your,
Yeah,
I hate to
but-
put you on the spot,
Yeah,
your
no,
opinion on this?
I don't, yeah, I'm just a little confused here with Mr. Colabello here. We've got a little bit of the dock structure that's on Georgia property, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, but if we have the 17 additional feet, that dock is gonna be entirely on your right, under your deeded rights.
Right.
Correct?
Yes. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, it's
Well,
not, I mean, why, we can make it complicated.
Well,
They
we
just
have.
want, we have, okay. So we just want to be able to not have to worry in the future about accessing the dock through Riggs Lane in any respect, whether it's this half or
Well,
that
you know,
half.
the question, are you gonna say, look, we need the entire 35 feet? Or this 17 feet is fine, we're okay with the 17 and a half feet.
Again.
Mr. Colabella, I'm happy to go out right now and hammer this out. They can start the next application. I'll give you my time as long as the board's willing to sit here. I'll work on this right now, but I am concerned that you're not gonna be able to speak for everybody this evening.
Okay, well, I'm concerned, I'm concerned,
happy
I'm concerned about that too, because they're not all here.
Right.
You know, so, that's why I think that if we had a little bit of
Maybe
time,
table this for like 30 days.
right,
Let them hash it out, and if they can't hash it out next 30 days,
You
because
vote.
I feel like if we vote on it, we're going to handicap the association.
yes.
There's absolutely zero, anybody needs to be on the table. If we table it, and let them hash it out and come back with
Yeah, I mean, I
a,
think,
I
I
think
think
so.
if we
I think that's
took like a
fair, yeah.
30-day, and you gotta come up with something.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no more, you
30
gotta come
days,
up with
you Come
something.
up with
Yeah.
something, because you can't work it out tonight, you don't have all your.
yeah.
And
I think if you don't
That's
work
great.
it out within the 30 days,
You
Then
vote.
you move ahead.
I think
then
that's,
we'll
yeah,
move ahead.
I think that's a great idea.
And
I
these
appreciate that.
deeds that you're referencing.
Yes.
Do we have copies in
I
the
think Mr.
record?
McGovern may have sent them, I'm not sure, but I can send them.
You
in.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you know,
'cause-
Bill, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
wanna litigate.
No, I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
that's-
that, that half of Riggs Lane was already
Yeah.
deeded to the, so obviously if there was an easement or something, would have came up in a title search.
Well,
where-
I'm just
Right.
surprised
I
that
think
the
the title search
association
is
wasn't
600
part of that
pages.
litigation.
Right, so that,
That's
that,
not-
that-
Why wouldn't they? be-
Mr. Ray, that's the issue. They were not noticed. They were not part of the litigation. They were not involved. That's a problem, because any transfer was made subject to these rights. These rights pre-existed, that deed, pre-existed Georgie's purchasing of the property, pre-existed Onita being bought by Georgie.
Just
So,
so
so,
the record's clear, we do disagree with the deeded rights.
okay, well, you could. It's,
Well, listen, you guys are gonna have to figure out something
we are,
where
and
everybody's
we,
happy
and we will.
because this could go
I,
on
I
forever.
like the suggestion that we have 30 days
Yeah.
to work it out.
Yeah.
There's a
I'll
lot riding on it.
I'll make a motion to table for 30 days.
I'd like to second that.
I'll third it.
So you gotta make sure you got that squared away,
We will.
and everybody's in agreement.
I know Mr. Beckendorf, and I think he and I will work a little
All right,
more
we need a-
aggressively.
We need a vote to
Yeah.
carry this, so when,
Can we
30
have-
days.
can
you
we-
got a date?
Before we
What?
close public comment, if you'd like to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
In fact, I flew up 2 times so I could attend this meeting. This is my second time
Are
being
you part
here.
of the association?
Yes,
You're represented by counsel.
I'm representing I have power of attorney for my mother, Violet Hatton, who is lot 10. And I've
No,
also,
But if you're represented by counsel.
no, I'm not, not for this.
association is
The association is I'm representing myself. And I would like to speak to this board. Tom Hatton, I've been a long,
Be sworn in, let's swear.
Yes.
okay.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
So help me God, yes.
and spell your last name,
Hatton, Hatton.
and where you live.
I live at 2 Artist View Lane in Blairstown is my legal address. And my mother, Violet Hatton, lives at 12 Oneida Avenue. And she also owns lot 10, which is a deed holder.
You have the power of attorney to speak there.
Yes, I do. In fact, Mr. Carlabella is the one who put it together for several years ago. So, first of all, I do want to say they are building a nice house, and I do want to give credit for that. And when I lived here, I served on the Environmental Commission for approximately 6 years, and I spent a lot of time reviewing properties like this. And what I have done is I've summarized the last 60 years of Echo Cove, the relationships, and what has happened over the last 5 years. I condensed it down to a 3-page summary. And I also have example copies of the deed, of a deed for lot 10.
It really isn't right that we be told the deeds we haven't been provided before this meeting and be expected to sit and review deeds at a public meeting. It's not fair to the board members. It's not fair to my.
That's not our job, I mean.
And
I mean,
if, you know,
we're not
if this
human.
was gonna be offered, it should have been offered a long time ago, so we'd have time to look at it and not sit here under pressure reading a bunch of deeds. That's just not, it's not
Well,
the way things should be done.
I would like to offer up one deed, and I would like to offer up this summary history. I don't know if I have enough to go around, but,
Bill, do you need a copy of that to enter into?
You know, we're gonna.
well, make sure that he gets one copy
I'll
for the
keep
agreement.
I definitely would like to.
Yeah, you can with me.
We're
For,
gonna mark that as H1.
so for starters here, to say this is a mess is an understatement. And a little honesty and a little forthrightness about 5 years ago would have gone a long way. The history is, I laid it out here, the Georgies purchased 2 substandard lots that could not have been built on without the vacation of Oneida Avenue. Oneida was vacated without proper legal notice. The town even admitted in a public meeting that notifications were not set out. And when I asked why they were not set out, Mr. Urson at the time said, because Hopakon has subjective standards. And when I asked him what that meant, he became rattled and unhappy. But what he did do is use that title in Europe's largest environmental symposium, subjective standards, and it's now our environmental buzz phrase, so he can take credit for that. Oneida was vacated. Had Corey Liguori known, and that was her access to Riggs Lane, she would have objected. My mom would have had objective, but they did not know. So that occurred. The Georgies knew about these deeds because we had a telephone conversation in which that I said that I would support you. I gave you the name of 3 septic engineers because I shared an office with Wendell and Hoffer for years. So I know who could shoehorn a septic into any place. We gave him that, and I thought the agreement was, I will help you get these variances, provided there's no more land grab. And that was prior to the vacation of Oneida. Then the town also gave away Riggs Lane, which they did not own. And Don Roberts had requested that there be a title search. The title search found out that Hopakon Borough did not own Riggs Lane. So that land grant was rescinded. So in addition to these deeds, there's a number of issues here. That is the property has a steep slope, critical grade. And I do environmental work and I'm involved with a lot of sites. In fact, I do some consulting. But because of vegetation in Hopakon and the deer problem, that slope is already eroding. In the last 5 or so years, the Tomlinson's house, which is all this water is directed from. In fact, it's not just the Georgie's properties, 3 properties water flow into the Georgie property and aim right at the corner of Tomlinson's house. So the soil at the corner of his house, which was once probably 8 inches or so below the siding, is now 2 or 3 inches above the siding. My mom's garage, which probably had 10 inches of foundation below the wood siding, is now about 8 inches above. So one of the things that I'd like to see is in the soil erosion sediment plan is possibly the use of acrylic biodegradable stabilizers, or making sure that all that runoff water is curbed and those sumps are in before construction starts. So, but what really needs to happen here is not a licensing agreement that can be dangled, broken, but the deeds that have been granted from the people who purchased the property from the Mitchells honored. There is a simple solution. It doesn't have to take a long time. It's just being good neighbors and honoring the deeds. So in my opinion, that's what needs to happen. And that's how this gets solved, is recognizing and honoring the deeds. I know, Corey, I think Lagori wanted to talk about her right of way. And maybe the towns, there should be a bond issue on behalf of Corey Lagori to make sure that her property can be destroyed, because that road it's a right of way, but it's thin asphalt over soil. And it would support a car, but I don't think much more. And I know that when they wanted to log the Bear Pond area, the town did support a bond before the Casperson property could be logged. And there were some other issues, and that's why it ultimately never was. But those are things that I think should be considered by the board before a vote is taken. Thank you, and I'd like to pass my time to Corey Lagori. I don't know if I need to be sworn out.
Thank you, Mr. Happ.
Please come forward.
Good
Please raise
evening.
your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
And your last name?
Carolyn Liguri, Liguri, nickname Corey. Okay.
Where do you live?
Excuse me,
Where do you live?
26 Kissling. I have a
26
note.
Kissling.
Cops Corner.
Mhm.
Top court, yes.
Yeah.
No, Cops Corner.
All right, I've lived in my home now for 52 years, and I have a right of way that goes through my property. And the right of way is so that the houses that are on the water, 2, 4, 6, and 8, they own the back lots, and that gives them the right to come up through. Without the back lots, they're landlocked. The one lot that is going to be built on that concerns the right of way is where the garage is going. So I have a copy of the deed, and this is the predecessor entitled. And this is the Lake Lane property.
You want to give one?
Sorry.
This is L1, but we- It's the Mitchell and the Silver Mitchell, to Marion F. Schwartz.
Those were the original people
Yeah,
down there.
Dated November 17th, 1956.
Now, every one of the houses that are on the water have the same deed specifying the right of way.
The 2, 4, 6, and 8.
Yes, yes, yes. So my concern is, and also the Hamiltons, they own 4 Oneida. And they're the second half of the right of way. So it goes through my property at the top, and then the bottom part is theirs. So we're concerned about it being all torn up it costs a lot of money to repair it, so with all the trucks going up and down, it's gonna get ripped. So I was hoping that there would be money set aside, like a bond, that it would then get repaired if there's any damage done to it. Because, like I said, it's expensive, and it just was paid a few years ago, and it's gonna be destroyed.
Yeah, I don't think the applicants would object to that. I mean, you can't, you have to leave it the same way you found it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all. So I think they would agree to that, Mr. Beckendorf? Okay,
Okay.
so that's that.
All right, but yeah, that was it. That's, and then the Riggs Lane where the garage is, it never can be vacated because it affects the right of way. If say the gas company does come in and they'll use the road, I can then vacate the right of way because then they would be using Riggs Lane. So to vacate the right of way, the properties on Oneida, they get all moved up to the back lots, and then they will go out through Riggs Lane, the corner of Riggs Lane, which is where the garage is gonna go. So I just wanted you to be aware of the right of way.
And Rick's Lane goes through your property, Mrs. LaGloria?
No, I go
Parallel, runs
down,
Up the side of your.
Yeah.
property, correct?
Okay.
yeah. And that's it. Thank you.
Now that Riggs Lane goes all the way up to Kiss Lane?
Right, and the town actually surveyed it about 25 years ago because my late husband got the town to pave the dirt road. And they had to put a K-turn at the end. So in order to do that, they had to survey it. So the town actually did survey the upper part of Riggs Lane. So they had to have taken it over then, so really can't be vacated. The lower part, that's a different story. That's the lake stuff. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Does, I guess we should open this up to the public. Anybody else want to comment? Anybody else?
I'd like to add one short thing to this, and that is, after Oneida Avenue was vacated, that those two houses without Corey's right of way are technically landlocked. Because Oneida would come through on paper, but now it stops. So the only way to get to those two houses is through that right of way, which pretty much guarantees that Corey has to perpetuate that right of way and could not use that portion of her property for anything else other than the people who are there. Whereas before, the opportunity to improve Oneida Avenue and allow pass through to Oneida to the other lots. But now that this section was vacated, it's, those two lots are landlocked without the right of way.
So that, they never come to, Oneida Ave was never used for
No,
that
but I'm
purpose.
just a point of fact that there is no opportunity to improve it in that those two houses are now forever married to that.
Easement.
Yes.
When a road is vacated, you can't cut off access, you know, even if the road is vacated, if it's needed for access, those access rights persist.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Anybody else from the public have any comments on this application? Okay, so we'll see, we'll close it to the public now and we'll look for a motion to grant them a 30-day.
There's a motion already on the table.
Okay.
And a second,
Second.
and down in second, yes.
Do you have a date for them? What's the date?
30 days.
Well, we gotta just see what day the available meeting is.
No penalty for agreeing early.
Right.
Absolutely not.
So today is the 18th, so 30 days.
I'm gonna take a
I mean, the 15th is an April meeting. If you don't go to the 15th, then the next meeting would be May 6th.
What works, the earlier the better?
Can we do the 15 if Mr. Colabella feels comfortable with that?
When is that?
The 15th?
April 15th?
April 15th, tax day.
What is that, it's only 3 weeks away?
Well, you say you were close with the agreement, so.
Yes, let me take a look and make sure I'm not on vacation.
We're gonna take a vote.
Yes,
Perfect, it's tax day. Yeah,
you're good?
yeah.
So we'll postpone this or carry it to the April 15th meeting, and by that time you'll have an agreement in place, correct?
I think so.
With
So
notice?
no further notice.
No
No
notice?
further notice, so.
So would you want to explain what no frequent notice means for people who are attending here?
Well, you're not gonna be noticed again. Your notice is now that the hearing will be on April 15th. They don't have to mail you out another
Won't be in the
certified letter.
paper. Yeah.
That it's gonna be heard on April 15th. They're letting you know, we're letting you know now.
Do we have to consent to the extension?
I thought you did.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we vote on it?
So, yeah, we'll take a vote on
Okay, you did consent.
Yes.
it. So we have a motion and a second to carry it to the April 15th meeting.
If they don't agree.
Well, they have to have it, or I don't know, we'll, if they don't come up with an agreement, we proceed.
I think we proceed.
Okay,
We do.
Unless we agree otherwise, unless we agree to extend it.
again, after that,
Yeah, I think so, that should be part of it.
All right.
Because
Well,
we
you can
agree,
always do that, but we're certainly hoping that we get this done.
of course.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and get
Would
it.
another option simply to be resubmitted another time?
no, I think they wanna move forward. I mean, listen, they're here to move forward and they're
They
willing to,
presented their
Yeah.
application.
yes, so. 30 days, hopefully you'll have we can move forward and then it should go fairly quickly after that.
We'll take a vote.
All right, take a
All
vote.
right, Mr. Sherrill,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Craft,
Yes.
Councilman Kusevich,
Yes.
Mr. Mazelowski,
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes.
Ms. Snell.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Valli.
Yes.
Okay, see you April 15th.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night, Mr.
Yeah,
Becker.
I have that. Dan, do you need these or you're good?
I'd like to call for a 5-minute recess. Okay.
And it is a nice design.
Looking for a vote, aye.
Just go, Rich.
I'm just standing up.
That's why it was called Cops Corner.
I wonder if anybody's-
You had Howie
I wonder if
Carl,
anybody's here on that final
Lucio,
application.
So anyway.
Frank Lagori,
Well, no, two more, and then the
who's the
extension.
chief of police. Yes, so he lived there, and that's why it was called Pittsburgh.
It aggravates the hell out of me.
But that's, yeah.
They should.
kind of why we postponed it.
I'm old enough to know.
All right, we can't. I was like,
No, I don't want a quorum. I don't want to get a quorum going. Then everything's off the
So
table.
Bill, this, the next one's simple. And the last one's not gonna be heard. So maybe I should, maybe I'll just announce that. when we come back. Yeah.
Surprised Luann's they brought today.
Chairman.
Scared me, sorry.
I'm just gonna call that the last application. You wanna just tell them what's going on? We have two more applications. We have one at 316 Lakeside Ave. I don't know if there's anybody here for that. Bill, you could,
Yeah.
our attorney will tell you.
Yeah, apparently we received plans just today, is that right?
When, I mean, yesterday we received plans, so.
Yesterday, none of the board members, had a chance to look at them. I haven't had a chance to look at them. And we shouldn't, and the public obviously hasn't had a chance to look at them. So the plans are supposed to be in 10 days ahead of a meeting. And for that reason, we should not proceed tonight to hear that application.
So step forward, come on.
Those were actually less than what what are on the plans right now, so you do have, all the members of the board do have the plans that we'll be presenting tonight, but what we're requesting is actually less. And we're happy.
But that still requires.
Yeah, we have to
10
review
days To read them.
I understand what you're saying. You're not asking for more, you're asking for less, but we still need 10 days to review them.
Look
And
at
if we
them.
have any,
But it's the same plan, if I can explain it, it's basically the deck. We were asking for an extension, if you look at the plans on the 3rd floor, however, now we're only asking for a balcony instead of the extension, which we brought copies as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a procedure. We, everything has to be in and stamped in. Any changes have to, we have to have 10 days before the meeting. so-
Engineer wasn't able to do that.
Huh?
The engineer wasn't
Yeah,
able
our
to do
engineer didn't look, I mean, this is, that's procedure. We can't, if any. Yes. Plans change and you submit new ones, less than 10 days, we can't, we have to.
Can we present the same plans that you have then?
The original.
The original plans?
You want to do that? You
Yes,
want to just project the later plans? You
Yes,
can do that?
Yeah, because what I'm saying
Withdraw it?
is that it's less, so there's no reason for you guys to reject the last plan.
Well, I don't know, if you're planning to submit
don't have an
a
engineer's
plan that you
review on
know
that.
is not going to be your plan. And it's going to be something else, whether it's less or whatever. Isn't that not really useful time? Because we're going to approve something that you have no intention of doing. You're going to be doing something else. And while you may say it's less than what you agree, it's still, it would be nice for the public to know what that is and things like
The
that.
architectural appearance of your plans may have an impact on what the board feels
Assume-
about your proposal.
We have to do our due diligence.
I think it's in your best interest if we have the current ones that you're looking at as opposed to the older ones, because we visit the site, we have our questions, we call the engineer, we can't do that because we don't have those new plans. So
Yes,
even
we're all
presenting,
familiar with the steps going down.
The, I will tell you, we do have availability the next meeting, so it's not like you're, and I don't know.
Would you want to request an extension or just to move it to the next meeting? That way everybody's good with everything.
Including the public.
If that's the only option.
It is.
We have to advertise and all that all over again.
The notices.
No,
This is.
no, we would carry.
No,
it
it's not,
without-
it doesn't trigger any new variances, correct, Bill?
Right.
It just,
He doesn't even see it.
you know, no, I think we could carry it without notice, correct?
Yes,
So no, you wouldn't have to notice everybody, I mean, just
be here.
be here at the next meeting and anybody from the public that's here on that, which I don't know if there is anybody,
Is there anybody?
they would be aware that the hearing is gonna get held at our next
Yes,
event.
It's actually a very simple addition that you're doing. And the original plans lays out everything, all we are doing. And we do have a comparison of what you have had and what we are asking for tonight. It's a very small change, so we are asking for some discretion here, if you would, please.
Well,
I don't think that there is
we
discretion.
lean
The
on our
rule is that
counsel.
Stuff
He's
is
the one that-
supposed to be in 10 days ahead,
So,
because a member of the public that might be interested
Yep.
may have come down 8 days ago and looked at your plans and said, we think that's okay. And then the plans come in yesterday, it's not appropriate for the public, it's not appropriate for the board or the board's engineer to get something.
so I
above
think
board.
it's only, when is the next meeting?
April 1st.
April 1st. So today's the 18th, so 2 weeks from today.
Just down the road from your house.
Okay,
All right, you're good with that? So we're gonna carry this
yeah,
application.
let's have a
from
motion to
April
carry
1st.
the application
Yeah.
to April 1st without further
No notice.
notice.
I'll make the motion. I'll second that.
And if there's gonna,
Shall we be heard
Yes,
first
Yes.
on the calendar?
It would
Yeah.
be continued business versus new business, is that what it
it'll
would
be
be?
continued. You'll be heard first.
Yes.
It's usually not like what you saw tonight. It's usually not.
You will be those guys.
No, it'll be, so, all right, you good? We got a motion?
Yes. Mr.
Second.
Sharilla,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Crock,
Yeah.
Councilman Kusevich,
Yes.
Mr. Mezalowski,
Yes.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
yes.
Mayor Galati.
yes.
All right, see you April 1st.
Thank you all.
All right. All right, we got one more tough one. Joseph Gordon-Leon from 5 Holiday Drive.
Okay, how you doing?
Where are you in?
Please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, I do.
Tell us what you like to do.
We want to put an addition on the right side of our house. 14 by 26 addition, 2 stories. You guys have, hopefully have all the papers.
Plans, yes, yeah.
We brought them up to-
Your full name is Joseph Gordon-Leon, and you're the property owner, correct?
Right. That's what they named it.
All right, so-
Recognize these drawings.
Huh?
I recognize these drawings.
Yeah, these are Mike Bangus drawings. All right, Joe, you got the letter from the town engineer. Did you get a copy of that? I guess there was only one, the grades are not gonna change as part of the subject application. It's gonna stay the same, right?
Right.
So you agree to that?
You're not changing the height of your house.
Gonna be the
Yeah,
same all the way
same
across.
Right, right.
So it
it's
looks like
just-
the same house, just a little longer.
Bigger, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more breathing room for the garage.
2 more rooms,
Yeah.
actually.
Right, it's a minimal, I mean, I don't even, why, what triggers the variance, Bill? Your yard?
You know, yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it was in the rear yard. I haven't looked at this in a while.
John has it, the front yard setback is going from 25 to 24.5. And the side yard setback, 15 is required and 16 and 19 exist, and the one is going down to 9.5. So it's minimum side yard setback because the house is becoming wider, I guess you'd say, and front yard.
All minimal. No, I mean, really, it's.
Yeah,
Right, any members of the board have any questions? No?
No.
Seeing none, I'll open it to the public. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on this application? Seeing none, I'll close it. Do you have a comment?
Yeah, just from our side, we do acknowledge John Rushke's previous comments in regards to requesting a topographic survey. We have no objection to not provide, or the applicant not providing a topographic survey. However, we recommend and we would like to see an as-built plan. Compared to the architectural that's just marked up with dimensions, it's hard to tell the exact dimensions of what the setbacks are with the effect of the new extension of this garage. And as-built with all, I also did review, I mean, there's nothing on this architectural that suggests the shape of the driveway or the layout of the driveway. I did, however, review aerial photographs, which shows that it would be suitable for this new garage. But again, a proper as-built survey would allow us to, while we do note that it's being built on level pavement, finished pavement, which we find acceptable. We do, again, with an as-built survey, it would allow us to note just something for record and allow us to do an in-field inspection to note any possible detriments to downstream neighbors' properties. And finally, Bill, I turn to you for this one. It would also just help us memorialize the presented setbacks.
Yeah, it's a little rough, obviously. I think I got about 6 versions of that map that you're looking at there with, I'm trying to figure out where they all came in, but it would verify that the setbacks that are requested are physically there.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah.
It would not be, it would not.
I didn't get that.
Joe, did you have a copy of your survey? Did you give it to Mike?
Yeah, we had it when we brought.
Yeah, I don't think we were.
Bill.
It's
It's on the back of, to whom it may concern.
It's on the back of the packet.
I try to preserve paper.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just, you're just adding 3 walls on it and keeping right in line with self.
Yeah, and the neighbors are way far away from us. They have to drop off and then.
Yeah, no, I did some minimal. So yeah, you could just have the, I guess, the architect, when you're done, just say exactly what. Yeah, an as-built.
Even if there was small discrepancies in the distances that were proposed here, we're not objecting to that. It would just help memorialize what those exact numbers are.
All right, so when you're all done, Mike's gotta come out and say, okay, it's 52, 3 and 20, whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
Do that though?
They would do it.
Yeah, he said he
I don't
would,
wanna make him get a survey.
he said he would come out and, so it's just a matter of verifying that all the specs are right by his setup, right?
All right, so we had it, we opened it in public, nobody from the public, we closed this in public. And I'll wait for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second. What's the motion?
Yeah, 3 seconds.
Okay. With that, with the thing, just that we want the architect to just give a
The architect.
Yeah. final.
As built, yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Mr. Shirley,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Crock. Yes. Councilman Kusvich.
Yes.
Mr. Mezzalowski.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes.
Ms. Snow. Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mayor Galati.
Yes.
All right, good to go.
I want to ask one more thing, that we wanted to have
You wanted
a
of
waiver.
motorization.
I like that motion.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Mr. Diamond.
Yes.
Ms. Crock. Councilman Kusvich.
Yes.
Mr. Mezzalowski.
Yes.
Chairman Ray.
Yes.
Ms. Snow. Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mayor
All
Galati.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bring your stuff in tomorrow.
They should all run like this. They should all run like this.
Oh, yeah.
I should have took a photo.
Yeah, you're right.
He's a very
Okay,
patient
we're-
man, waiting
Just the
that long.
extension of resolution.
We have one extension of a resolution. Linda and Steve Baldini, 33 Cove Road. They just asked for an extension of a previously granted resolution. Do we need a motion to
Yes.
extend that?
She's been here.
Oh, you heard? Come on up.
You swear the testimony about to go be the truth, all truth, and nothing but truth.
I do.
And you're Linda Baldini,
Linda Baldini.
and you're a property owner.
Yes.
And the reason for the request for the extension.
We had initially requested the work, the variance when we were doing other work on the property. But as we were getting ready to do that part of it, the stairs, we realized that we were having a lot of drainage issues on that upper deck. And we brought in a bunch of different people to look at how to fix the drainage issues. And that just sort of morphed into like, you've got to do this, you got to do this. And it's sort of the time got away from us as we were trying to figure that out, because we didn't want to put those stairs in and then find that we had to do something with the level, yeah. And now we are, actually, I was hoping to drop off plans for the construction work that we want to do to improve the slope on that.
Well, I think you can. I mean, what we're doing is granting you an approval.
Yeah, no,
previously-
yeah, you guys don't need that, but I was hoping that I was gonna do that earlier, meaning that we're like ready to proceed with the construction.
Just as long as you're not triggering any new variances, anything. like
Nothing's
that.
changing. Whatever you got the approvals for, you're doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion
So,
to,
yeah, our variances have a duration, so if we
Yeah.
approve it, we send it out an equal duration as for the ordinance.
a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Sherrill,
Yes.
Mr. Diamond,
Yes.
Ms. Croft. Yes. Councilman Kukovic,
Yes.
Mr. Mazelowski,
Yes.
Chairman Ray,
Yes.
Ms. Snow, Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Bellotti.
Yes.
Oh, you had to sit through all that.
That's
Actually,
okay.
you should have went on first.
It was very interesting, but thank you, I really appreciate it.
Okay, let's see what else. Meeting open to the public. Anybody from the public wish to?
That was the
Come on up.
public call.
What's taking so long, guys?
Quick question. The gentleman that was here before, Joseph Gorgoloni, was that, Isaac Moore?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that one's the one that they're gonna come back next month.
Okay, I'm just checking off.
Yeah, that last one was brought up because we needed to move him. That's
Right.
why.
Okay.
So,
That's it.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? You know one? All right. Meeting for the public and. Judy.
Motion to
All
adjourn.
right, good job.
I have a question though.
Hold on,
Is there any way?
Are we off?
hold,
wait.
Yeah, bigger chocolate bar?
okay.
Is there any way we can